Sometimes it's really hard to know if you are the only woman he's talking to or interested in. It's really tough to read his mind and find out what he actually wants. And the last thing you want to do is to ask him directly, fish around his social media, or ask his friends. This, of course, will make you look clingy, which is a red flag for any guy. But luckily, there are some subtle signs that will help you decide for sure if this relationship is worth pursuing or letting go altogether. Today, we are going to learn how to know if you are the only woman he's talking to or interested in. Now, let's begin. Number 15, he's ready to commit. The most surefire sign that you are the only girl he wants is if he's ready to let go of your casual dating status and commit to a serious, exclusive boyfriend girlfriend relationship. After dating for a few months, he's ready, maybe even eager to discuss this with you because he's done keeping his options open. Number 14, he remembers everything you say. No matter what you say, nothing is too trivial or below his notice. He will remember everything you tell him, like your birthday, your favorite color, your favorite food, and even when you are planning to get a haircut. Moreover, he actively acts on this information. He would order food you like or compliment your new hairstyle. He's genuinely curious about you and wants to understand what makes you tick. On the other hand, someone who is dating around or isn't committed won't bother to remember details about you. Trying to do so may even give him away, especially if they confuse you for another girl. Number 13, he doesn't mind surprise visits from you. Maybe you dropped by his office out of the blue to ask him out for lunch or suddenly showed up at his home unannounced. No matter what surprise you pull, he's always delighted to see you. Sure, it's usually courteous to call ahead, but he never seems to mind. In fact, he's delighted to see you expectedly because it shows you are interested in him as well. If you are the only girl in his life, he probably loves it when you stop by to see him now and then. However, he may be hiding something if he gets nervous when you show up uninvited. It's likely that he always wants to know your plans beforehand so he can avoid potential awkward situations. Getting irrationally angry when you visit him by surprise could be a sign that he nearly got caught, and if he is not hiding anything, he should be able to move on from your gesture. Number 12, he talks about the future. The future may seem such an intimidating, overwhelming concept to a newly dating couple. However, you can be sure your guy is for keeps by paying attention to how he talks about future plans. It could be something small, like booking concert and theater tickets, or something major like spending vacations and holidays together. If he invites you to these events or commits to attending with you months in advance, then you know he's thinking about being with you for a very long term. However, if he starts talking about living in the moment or seems more uncomfortable at the mention of not so distant plans, you should be aware. You deserve to be with someone who is excited to share a future with you, even for something mundane. It shows they don't have a sense of finiteness to the relationship and that they intend to stick around for a long time. Number 11, he lets you decide on the plans. Men who are juggling multiple guests at once would rarely allow you to schedule your dates because he is playing his time in different ways, and he is the only one who knows how his schedule works. A guy who gives you a measure of control over his free time means you are the only person aside from him who has that privilege. It's definitely a red flag if your guy only ever asks you to hang out at a time and place he chooses, or maybe he's always unavailable or busy on dates you plan. Sure, he might have a tight schedule, but isn't it suspicious that he always disregards your suggestions? And on a rare occasion where he does agree to your plans, he suddenly cancels at the last minute. All these signs could point to one or two things. He is seeing someone else, or can't commit time for you, or he isn't considering what you guys have, which is very, very bad. Number 10, he's openly being affectionate with you. Whenever you go out to dinner, dancing or parties, he's always right next to you. He's not afraid to hold your hand or show signs of physical affection towards you. Public displays of affection, especially in front of family and colleagues, show the world that you are taking. Plus, human beings tend to touch what they like, Giving long hugs, touching your arm lightly, or putting his arm around your shoulders probably gives him a thrill because he likes you so much. If he's seen other girls, he would be more hesitant in case someone sees him. Keep in mind that some men are naturally comfortable with touching people, while others are shy about touching people because they feel awkward or sleazy. Number 9. He invites you to meet his friends. A relationship headed in the right direction should definitely lead to introductions among his closest friends and co-workers. If he's ready to go steady with you, you should understand that meeting friends and attending social events together is essential because these people matter to you both. A man who has nothing to hide will invite you to meet his friends. In return, he is also game to meet your friends because he wants to know the people you care about too. It's also one thing for him to tell his guy friends about a girl he's dating, but it's another thing completely when he invites his close female friends to meet you. Not only is he sharing his joy with them, but also he's trying to get their vote of approval. Introducing you to his friends could mean he's closing his doors to everyone else because you are the best choice. It would be messy if he introduces every girl he's dating to his friends, as it could put them in a potential awkward, uncomfortable position. Number 8. He's comfortable leaving his phone with you. There's no other device as personal and as necessary as a smartphone, where all calling, texting, and other forms of communication are caused through. If the guy you are seeing has nothing to hide, he won't think twice about leaving his phone with you when he goes to the toilet. In fact, leaving his phone with you is also a sign of how he trusts you as well. On the other hand, guys who are keeping their options open will be on their guard and keep their phone away from you. He knows that his cover will be blown if you ever get access to his device, so he may even react negatively if you try to reach for it suddenly. Number 7. He frequently mentions you on social media. Social media plays a big role in courtship these days. Following each other and interacting on social media is probably the modern equivalent of flaunting love letters 100 years ago. So how can you tell through social media if he's keeping his options open or if he's serious about you? Here are some tips to take note of. A. If you've been seeing each other, it's only natural to add him on all popular media social platforms almost immediately. A guy who is into you and only you would probably ask you before you ask to add him. Otherwise, he might decline your friend invite or make a big fuss about keeping his account secret. He may make excuses like he doesn't use social media often because he wants to keep his profile clean among his dates. B. Most people don't change their social media status until they are engaged or married, but a guy who likes you is going to start mentioning you everywhere. He will tag you on Facebook posts, Twitter, or your interactions and share your pictures on his Instagram stories constantly. This is his way of showing you off and telling the world that you are a thing. C. Some guys who are seeing a number of women will be uncomfortable to share photos of you as a couple on social media. If ever you get to post a photo with him, he often makes himself difficult to identify so other ladies wouldn't think you are in a romantic relationship. Number 6. He puts your needs first. Does the guy you are seeing do everything to keep you satisfied with him? If so, he's taking your relationship seriously. People can easily say they love you, but their action speaks louder than words. You can only judge someone's sincerity based on their behavior. Would he be the first person to offer his support whenever you're sick or struggling with a personal problem? Remember, a man who likes you also wants to impress you. They want you to understand that you can also rely on them to help you out. A guy who really wants to make the relationship work will do more than is required, so you can count on them to go above and beyond for you. Number 5. He's always hanging out with you. When a guy is interested in you, he's probably hanging around you all the time, and you might not even notice because he loves having you there too. Even if you've been seeing each other for some time, he still isn't tired of spending time with you. People who date around tend to leave their weekends available to see other people. So if you are seeing each other on Friday and Saturday nights, you are most likely his one and only. You can also tell if he is prioritizing you based on his attitudes. He never waits until the last second to ask you out on a date, nor does he flake out on your plans regularly because he understands your time is valuable. He also carefully plans out each date. Even if you are just staying at home, he makes it fun and special by giving you his full attention. Most importantly, you can tell he enjoys your date and that he looks forward to them eagerly. Number 4. He doesn't get a lot of texts and calls. You can be sure that you are the only one he's talking to if his phone doesn't blow up whenever you are together. He usually texts you first and is quick to reply to you. Unless the nature of his job is particularly demanding and requires him to be on his phone all the time, it's unlikely he's calling or texting anyone else when he's with you. In fact, a guy who is really into you will set his phone aside so he can give you full of his attention. It can be a warning sign if he gets a number of calls or texts while he is on a date with you, especially if he keeps responding to the messages and it distracts him for the evening. Another suspicious gesture is if he glances at his phone then shoves it down his pocket because he doesn't want to draw your attention to it. The next time this happens, you can ask him who it's from and observe his expression. If he fumbles with the answer, it's likely he's hiding something from you. Number 2. He's open with you. A new relationship needs both partners to be open with each other as a critical step towards bonding and learning more about each other. The relationship will only flourish once both of you let your guards down and invite the other person to learn about your hopes, dreams, fears, flaws, and insecurities. It is definitely difficult for most people to do, especially men who are told to protect their manliness by staying away from girly emotions. However, a guy who is crazy about you will let his top exterior melt. He's not going to hold back anything from you, from details about his daily routine to what happened to him throughout the day. He would be willing to answer all your questions and even get excited because it means you want to know more about him too. Number 1. He makes himself available. Take it from me, when a guy is really interested in you, he is willing to invest a whole lot of time and effort so he can be around you. Don't be surprised if he's doing the most he can to clear up his schedule a few days before a big date, which means he's probably ecstatic at the idea of spending more time with you. And if there's something he can't postpone or avoid, he would definitely try his best to finish it as quick as possible so he can be around you. Of course, it's not realistic or healthy to expect someone will set aside all their time to be with you, but you can definitely tell the difference between a dedicated suitor versus someone who is just stringing you along. If he's talking to other girls, his extra time will be split between you and someone else. Because he's seeing someone else, he's also more likely to disappear because she needs his attention as well. Before I wrap up this video today, I would like to say something. Even as the relationship progresses, there's no reason for you to expect any serious commitment from him. Unless you've talked about dating exclusively, you can't get angry if you do find out that he's dating other girls. Casual dating isn't done out of malice. Most people tend to meet a whole lot of people to get a feel of how the dating scene or figure out what they really like. If you are not okay with him seeing other persons while he's dating you, it's crucial to communicate that and make it clear. You can also do that by putting a label on the relationship.